Okay, friends, Max Gower and Candace Lacroix Johnston back on Pembroke elections 2018 with our friend and local here running for Pembroke City Council, Cory Nagora. Thanks for being here again.
No problem.
For an update. Wonderful to see you here. As we've improved our platform, he's been invited back to share his message and share his campaign. So let's get started, Candace.
Yeah, absolutely. So welcome back.
Thank you.
It's great to have you again, and we're getting towards the end of the campaign trail. So how are you doing so far?
Well, I feel like making some sort of impact. I think that coming back and doing this a second time was important. The first time around it was kind of new, and then you guys have perfected it, and I've kind of done the same with my platform, so I feel a lot more comfortable now discussing it as well.
That's perfect.
Wonderful.
That's exactly perfect. So, having a look at your, well, you know what, we should talk about Thanksgiving first, because it is Thanksgiving.
Very much a Thanksgiving fall themed show today on Thanksgiving Monday.
Yeah.
It's great that we could all come in here. We also have Tim, our manager, here in the background, helping us with productions and sharing it to the group for us. Tim, say hi.
Hi.
All right, that's something to do. He's behind the scenes for now, but we'll be interviewing Tim later. And how was your Thanksgiving, Cory?
It was great. Yesterday we had the kids and some family around and enjoyed the turkey.
Did you guys put on the dinner?
Yeah. Second time now I've had to cook turkey and.
That's not a bad thing.
No, it's not.
I cooked the turkey yesterday.
I didn't burn it, so that's a good thing. So.
Yeah, that's good. That's perfect. That's all that matters.
Tim and I had a great Thanksgiving. We were blessed to be with Mike and Candace and her children and her family. So thank you for hosting us. It was great. Your turkey was amazing, and the pumpkin pie story is yet to be told.
Oh yeah, the pumpkin pie story.
Yeah. We can talk about that a little bit later. Let's get to your platform and let's just start talking about your platform for City Council. What are the pillars?
My goals is to bring reason back to Pembroke. Reasons to work and to play, reasons to visit and to stay, so that we as a community can grow together. I think in order to do that, we have to look at 4 areas: economic development, social collaboration, recreation, and environment.
Wow. I like the social collaboration you said?
Yep.
Social collaboration, recreation, environment. What was the 4th?
Economic development.
Wow.
Jobs.
Wonderful. And I think a lot of those points speak to a broad range of people, but I wanted to mention that we're not only on Facebook Live right now, we're on 3 separate devices. We're on Facebook Live, we're on YouTube Live, and on Instagram Live. And this is our first time publishing to Instagram on the Church Street Media House page, and we're trying to encourage you all to vote. So I think this is a really good way to start with your pillars, because those would be attractive to a lot of the younger generations in this area as well.
Mm-hmm.
And we need to get them voting as well. There's been a decline.
Absolutely. I think what you guys have done with regards to the videos is perfect. I think it actually caters to a whole new generation of potential voters, and I think it's great to get out there and to get our voices heard. And so far, from what I've seen from the other candidates, it seems to be going well for you guys.
Yes, thank you very much.
Are your 4 pillars also explained in the pamphlet?
Yeah, this is a pamphlet. Most of you will probably start seeing this starting as of tomorrow. Basically, it outlines who I am, what I've done with regards to my work in over my life, and as well as what I think we can do to improve.
Nice.
That's wonderful. I guess we'd start at the top. Let's give everybody a good idea of what this brochure is about. So, in regards to economic development, you mentioned a couple really good points. So the first one is promoting the city. That's a big one.
Yeah, we do have a committee right now, the Pembroke Economic Development. I can never remember what the A stands for. Committee. It's Advisory Committee.
Yes.
PDAC, we'll just say. Basically, that's their role in council. It was created in 2015, and so far it's doing well. They have a marketing plan being tendered out right now to different consultation groups in order to see about getting marketing out for Pembroke. With regards to promoting Pembroke, I think that we need to not just promote out to the county, but to the whole country. I think there's a few ways to do that. Merchandising, I think, is one way where
Yes.
you're name of the city where you are, so that when you go places, people know where you're from, and they can question, oh, what's that? And then you can give them a brief explanation of what Pembroke's all about.
Absolutely. And I gotta mention, Homework is doing that for us right now too.
Are they? Yeah.
With their
Yeah,
movie.
with the movies.
That
Yeah.
is so cool.
Yeah,
In
it's
front
so
of
cool.
Grey Gables, there's like snow and everything right now. It's really cool.
No, I think that's important for the promotion. And then also, I mentioned, I think in a previous video or even in my posts, with regards to trying to get some kind of major event here that does the same thing nationally. We mentioned the flag games or the timber sports. I think that's a great way to get public. Well, it's a national televised event, and that kind of event would be a good boost for Pembroke, I think. As well.
Absolutely. And it would definitely kind of revitalize the current event right now. Fiddle Park, or did you want to do it separately?
Separate or in collaboration,
Yeah.
whichever way.
Whichever.
Yeah.
Yeah, ask the locals what they think, and
Well, and that's the biggest part is, getting the public feedback to see what's important for the public and how they feel that they want their city to be promoted, kind of have our identity.
yes.
So we're supposed to be the heart of the Ottawa Valley, and I think that we need to do a better job of showcasing that.
Absolutely, and the lumber industry was huge, and we really don't do much I don't think at all right now, do we? To really promote.
There's there's some businesses obviously in Pembroke that still deal with wood and stuff like that. Commonwealth still does have a place in Pembroke, and so I think that going forward, that if we're going to market Pembroke, we got to market it as a place that is willing to do business, but has to be also environmentally sound business as well.
Oh, absolutely.
Very good. And how about social collaboration? Can you speak on that for now?
Sure. Social collaboration. So what does that mean to me? Well, there's 3 ways that I like to improve it. Council interaction. I want to see council get more involved with the public, either in getting their decisions out to the public through either they decide now to go with live streaming. That's great. That's a step in the right direction. I think it's important then for people then to hold council accountable so that they're doing what they're suggested they're supposed to be doing. More transparency, seeing what's actually going on behind the scenes, so we're not kind of kept in the dark and then see all these things kind of all happen at once. Also, with regards to what's on the Facebook or on the city website, trying to find minutes for some of the committees, meetings and stuff like that. It's a little difficult, they're a little outdated, and they're not transcribed well enough, so you don't get a real kind of sense of what was discussed in those meetings. So I'd like to improve upon that. Increasing our volunteers, looking for more people to get more involved in our community. I think that's also important.
Yes.
And my ideas for that, maybe something that we could look at down the road is a social credit or a Pembroke loyalty program. A way to get people involved in the community so that when they do volunteer or donate or even be a long-time resident, they can get some kind of benefit back for being that, being part of the community. And then also with our senior youth programs. I mentioned before about Gadget Guides, a program that would involve our youth to teach technology to the older generation.
Yes, I like that idea.
Yeah, you posted a video and I've taken it upon in my platform, and it was regards to, I call it senior student accommodations, basically getting college students coming into the area to be able to live with some of the seniors in our area that may have extra space. And so it offers them an opportunity then to get a college student to live with them while they're going to school.
Like that idea, yeah.
And then they get help and assistance at home, and then it also benefits the student then as well, because then they get a perspective of the life here in Pembroke as well. So,
Absolutely, and the seniors need the students just as bad as the students need the seniors, so
yeah.
that works out really good. So we covered social collaboration.
Recreation we're on now.
Recreation, yeah, let's get more into that.
Recreation. 3 ways we can improve that. Let's get rid of the outside user fees when it comes to certain activities in Pembroke. I think that's a step in the right direction. People say, well, it's counterintuitive, we're losing money then by not getting these people paying the extra funds. But the problem is that if we're not getting people participating in the programs in Pembroke because they can find their activity in another municipality where they don't have to pay the extra fees, then they're not going to Pembroke, they're going to go to Laurentian Valley. We want them participating in Pembroke. So that to me is important, right? Then they would say, well, then it's counterintuitive if you want a major project, because then why would they want to invest in a major project if they don't have to pay the user fees on it afterwards? Well, then that's where I would look at, say, revenue sharing. So say for example with the Kinsman Pool, if we can get a collaboration with Whitewater and say Laurentian Valley, Pembroke puts 50% of the cost in, Laurentian Valley puts 25, and Whitewater puts 25%, then we can split the revenue the same way. And this way there, they still get involved in on the project, and they still get something back from the project, which I think is very important.
Yes.
And then with everything, with the reconstruction, the outside user fees, increase the programs. Let's get people participating in sports and activities and competitions, especially competitions in Pembroke. Having any kind of competition, be it gymnastics, esports, anything like that, which are
Do we have any kind of, like, there's lots of triathlons in the Ottawa Valley and bike races. Is there many like of those physique and strongman competitions? Those bring in a lot. Those are great for events.
Oh, absolutely, and that kind of idea is important too. That's where we're getting public feedback. Because I never thought of those actually.
Wasn't there an idea for a logging themed event too?
That was what I suggested.
That was your
Timber
suggestion.
sports,
Flag games or
Yeah, the flag games are
Flag
timber
games.
sports, but again, that's the same thing. It's competitions. And like my stepdaughter, she participates in gymnastics. We travel to Ottawa, to Kingston, to London for these tournaments. They draw anywhere from 300 to 500 competitors plus their families, and it's for a weekend, right? So you're going to get people then coming into Pembroke for another reason.
You need strongman as part of the club meeting. So
Yeah.
you fit in, it would tie in great with all the other lumberjack and all the other. But then you have music. You have a really full body event, so
Absolutely.
you can invite a lot of different ideas to that.
Mhm.
Great idea.
yeah. You had mentioned reconstruction of the Kinsman Pool. That is a really big one, and that's a big topic right now.
Yeah, I think it's great that the current council has found collaboration with YMCA.
That is awesome.
I
Yeah.
think that's great. I think that's a step in the right direction, obviously, as well. I would still like it to not just be an aquatic facility. I still think that we could do much more by making it a multi-purpose facility. I think then we
absolutely.
can, and it doesn't all have to be built at once. Do a phase-in project, phase it in over a few years, build the main area first, and then just continue to adapt and to expand on it each year, adding a little bit more money to it until eventually you have this beautiful place that draws people together for different various reasons.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I love the fact that that's a possibility for Pembroke, because I know a lot of people that would use it. Probably a majority of this town, and I like your idea of starting small and building on, and really figuring out what it is that is going to interest our locals.
Well, that's where I think it's also important that we have a proper design or a few designs. This was something another candidate and I discussed, where if you're going to put out something to the public for the public, then it should be the public that makes some of the decision. So, for example, the fire hall, I don't feel there was a lot of public decision in the building or the design or anything like that. So in order to prevent that, I think you put out a few different designs and you get the public to decide what works best for them.
I like that idea.
So-
Getting the people more involved.
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
definitely.
Yeah.
Wonderful, wonderful. Moving on to environment, can we talk about that, because that hasn't been everyone's topic of discussion.
Yeah.
No,
Sure, that's
and I think that that's something that we have to be looking. I think that the next generation, millennials and that, and even younger than that are going to be coming up, the environment's going to be an important issue. You want to be able to have a sustainable lifestyle here in Pembroke, and I think that we have to show, we have some concern when it comes to the environment. I've suggested in my pamphlet about reducing traffic through transit. Now again, this is something that would require cooperation, I don't think just with Pembroke, but also with Laurentian Valley, maybe even Petawawa, to get transit to run from all three areas. I think that would in a sense reduce the traffic on the roads, which reduces carbon pollution, and it also then takes a little bit less impact on the roads. So we're not overly concerned about having to fix our roads all the time. I want to avoid green space development. I want to leave some of the green space that we currently have in the areas that they are, and start looking at the vacant buildings that are currently occupying your city.
Yes.
And start getting more involved in getting those either businesses in there or finding ways to be able to get the land back so that we can actually develop it the way that we want to. And the last thing I touched on is I would like to review the CNL NSDF proposal. That's the near surface disposal facility for the waste. there's 100+ municipalities along the Ottawa River that have concerns over this. Pembroke doesn't seem to be one of them, so I would like to review it and ensure that we're safe. You know,
Yeah, that's a good idea.
the facility is said to be proven, but what's the oldest one in the world? You know, and is it over 10 to 15 years old? And if so, okay, is that a guarantee if this is going to be around for 50 years? So.
Oh, absolutely.
So I think those are major things that we have to be concerned about. Same thing within investing in business and factories and stuff coming into the area. I think that we have to ensure that the business types that we're getting are environmentally sound so that we're not destroying our way of life in order to benefit for money now when there may not be a future later. So,
What would you like to see come into this town?
for job wise, I think you got to increase the revenue. You know, if we can't necessarily reduce the taxes, then we need to increase the revenue of the people in Pembroke. So we got to start looking at jobs that are reflected not just for. You got to go after jobs that are basically geared towards the younger ones that are starting to grow up.
Yes.
So you got to start looking at jobs of which they're interested in, and that goes with the diversifying of my job with regards to economic development. We got to ensure that we're getting a wide variety of different jobs. Factory-wise, we can go with, you know, the indoor farming now is starting to become something popular.
Yes.
For a variety of products. Yeah.
Good. No, it's really good. Since we've gotten through your 4 pillars, there's still more to talk about the city. However, Tim, I want you to check out the group if you can. Are you on the group? You're on
Candace,
her page?
Yeah.
Are there any questions coming in or anything?
nothing yet.
No. And are you able to share that to the group?
Yes,
Can you do that?
I did.
Oh, and so can you go check in the group for questions perhaps?
Sure.
Or perhaps write in the comments that anyone that's watching in the Pembroke Elections 2018 Facebook group, as well as, well no, I can only say, anyone watching on YouTube or Instagram, please flip over to Facebook. Anyone watching on Candace's page, please follow the links to the Pembroke Elections 2018 group and drop a comment if you have a question specifically for our candidate here, Cory Nagora, and we'll keep, I say your name later.
It's Cory Nagora.
Nagora, Cory Nagora, and I need to make sure I check that. But yeah, we want everyone to be able to ask questions in the format there in 2018 group. But in the meantime, when we first had you here in the studio, you were our first candidate, correct?
Second, I was behind.
On the first day.
I was on the first day.
Right on.
yes.
Okay.
So,
And we talked a little bit about your connection to the Ottawa Valley and to Pembroke. We talked a bit about Thanksgiving today, but let's talk a little bit about your history here in the Ottawa Valley. Did you grow up in here in Pembroke?
Yeah, I was born in Kitchener. Shortly before my first birthday, my family moved back to Pembroke. They were originally from here. I've been raised in Pembroke, Eganville, and Laurentian Valley. I graduated in Fellows High School in 2000. I continued to work in the area at restaurants for the next 4 or 5 years. Then in 2003, I decided to go back to get my degree in mathematics so I could teach. But you know, life doesn't always go quite the way they expect it to.
Yeah.
And I was blessed with my first 3 children, and so I moved back to Pembroke. So that was 13 years ago, almost to the day. So since I came back, while I was in North Bay, I was doing telemarketing for a couple of years, and then I worked at OLS HGS for a few years once I came back. And now I work for Pure Layer, and I have for the last 10 years. But the one thing with regards to any job I've ever worked, you know, I've always made sure that I've been most resourceful, knowledgeable, and versatile. I think those are important aspects for anybody running for council. And with regards to Pure Layer, I've dedicated myself to the job that I now, you know, they call me the human GPS, and
Nice.
I honestly can't get lost in Renfrew County.
That's awesome.
But that's through hard work and effort, and so because any given day I could be put on run anywhere in the county. So,
Really, eh?
yeah.
I didn't realize they went that far.
Oh yeah, we service Pembroke, Renfrew County, all the way up to as far as Renfrew. We go all the way up to Deep River, up to Hardwood Lake, up to the Algonquin
Oh, wow.
Park, and then we even go into the Pontiac as far as Fort Lunch. So
It
And-
looks good on Pembroke then for that. That's awesome.
yeah, so and in that case, like I said, any given day I can